Okay.
It's another Tuesday.
Yes, sir.
We are here. We
In
are
the
the
building.
men, some of the men of Kingdom Builders International Apostolic Ministries, and this is just a conversation. And tonight on the hot seat, we got Brother Matthew and Brother Daniel. They are brothers. Not only brothers in Christ, but blood brothers.
Real life brothers. Real life.
Blood brothers.
I see, you see the resemblance. I look better than.
And then we have Minister Donovan. Amen.
President proxy for the Meta KBI.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I like that. You standing in proxy.
Yes, sir. One for all for one.
One for all for one. So, Matthew.
Yes, sir.
What's the conversation tonight?
Well, tonight's conversation is pretty much is this. Are you willing to set aside your own ambitions for your partners if their goals are bearing fruit more than your own? That's pretty much the topic. It's like, are you willing to just let your pride put your pride aside, and because your situation isn't moving forward right now, are you willing to like say, you know what, I'm gonna put my energy into helping my partner's goals out right now because I see that it's bearing fruit. I see not just financially, but it's growing like in all aspects right now. And mine is still in the groundworks. It hasn't really reached where it needs to be. Or I'm going to say, no, I'm not going to give up on my own, but I'm still going to support. How do you what's your feel on that situation? Are you willing to like set aside your own ambitions for your partner, or are you just willing to say, nah, I'm still going to keep on doing my thing, and because this is what I'm passionate about?
And that has to do with a business or just any walk of life?
Well, I wanted it to be mostly business, but because I feel like whenever you're dealing with a relationship that's to everybody together, but it's like your own thing. So I'm only really tying this into business.
Well, at the end of the day, like if your spouse is doing like a business wise, and if the spouse business is doing good, I would set aside my thing, because at the end of the day, it's going to benefit both of us. Because if that person is putting their energy and they're putting their all into something, you know, and then you seeing results, you know, you're seeing like benefits. Why wouldn't you, you know, partner with that person and help them? You know, if Daniel, you know, is doing his acting thing and he's doing his skit, and you know, if he has a supporter out there, why wouldn't you, you know, support him? You know, why would you help him when you see, you know, stuff going positive for him? You know, because I feel like if I'm gonna like try and do mine while he's doing his, and mine is struggling, but his is going forward, then it doesn't make sense. It don't really make sense to me for, like, I'm wasting money while he's making money. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So,
well, I think it depends on how you feel about what your dream is, because some people, I know there's a lot of people. Personally, for me, I don't have no significant others. So I can't really specifically comment on that aspect of it, because that would have to be on the person that you choose. Because the person that you choose, you obviously want to be with somebody that want to see you grow and see you win and see you flourish, and or they want to see you prosper, and likewise, you know. So that's really a decision between two parties. But in general, when it comes to your dream, obviously you want to, if you really are serious about that dream, or you really have a goal in mind, then obviously you want to get to a point where, you know, one, it can make you prosper, make you money. Now, if somebody else, the person that you're with, is currently prospering, I say support them. That's my personal opinion. I believe that you should support them in what they do and help them grow. But I believe that you shouldn't stop what you're doing. Maybe slow it down a bit. Maybe take less gigs. Like if I was doing acting, take less gigs, or maybe try to organize my time properly. Maybe if I have to work some more hours to support their dreams some more, and to take a little backseat to mine, that shouldn't be an issue. But it should be discussed. I believe it should be discussed. So I believe you should discuss it beforehand. Let them, hey, look, I have my dreams and aspirations, but I see that you're flourishing. I want you to do well. I'm gonna take a little back seat and let you ride the wave. But as you grow, remember that my dreams are also important. And when you get to a point where you can help me push my dreams even further, then I think you should do that. You know what I'm saying? Because I think some people don't discuss beforehand. So it's like it becomes a lot of animosity, a lot of negativity, a lot of rage built up because you're like, I sacrificed everything for you to build your dream, and now it's like I'm not up to par to you. So you know what I'm saying, you look down on me because I'm not there. But if you had spoken about it beforehand, like, hey, and sometimes you do speak about it and it still goes somewhere. I feel like some people just don't like feeling like you're here and I'm down here. I could have been here maybe if I could follow through with my decisions, if I followed through with my dream, but
Because I pushed you, I got you to where you need to be. Now it's like I'm taking a back seat. I think it should be a mutual decision between both parties about one who should maybe go up first, push up first. You never know. Some opportunities come through even pushing them. You might get your own opportunities through that.
So let me ask you a question. Like, let's get away from the couple thing right now. My thing is this: how was you and Matthew approach when your father said he's going to start a church? Because basically, I'm looking at it like, as the pastor's kids, I know I have to get involved.
Definitely.
So I might have stuff that I wanted to do that I had to put on the side to say, what, I'm gonna help push my father, because he has a dream. Not he has a dream, but God gave him a vision. But the vision that God gave him, I know I got to put my stuff on pause because of the fact that, listen, it's starting off something new that he doesn't really know of, and I really don't know of. So we have to help each other. So explain that.
well, from my standpoint, when it comes to my father, and really anything deal with church, I don't really I never really had a connection to any specific church that I went to. I know the people, talk to the people, fellowship with the people, make friends, but I never had there was nothing ever holding me down to any church. So whenever my dad was like, all right, it's time, we're gonna move. There's no real questions. It's maybe a question in my mind, like, okay, what's going on? But then he let us know, and he was like, okay, we're not gonna. We weren't really. Well, me personally, I wasn't. There was one point now, because I can't even be like, every time we moved, I was like, hey, all right, Dad, let's go ahead. No, there was one time. Like the day we were leaving, right? I forgot what happened, but there was like one girl, right? And I hadn't really talked to anybody. We were there for like 3 years, so I hadn't really talked to nobody. But it seemed like I was getting a little more intertwined with the people. And I was like, okay. I was like, all right. I was like, young lady, how you doing? Talking a little talk. And she was like, oh my God, da-da-da. I was like, hey, okay, all right. I kind of like this church. Maybe this is the church for us. Maybe we need to stay right here. Maybe we don't need to go anywhere. This is the church. And then that same day we were driving down, I was like, hey, guys. So I got some news. I was like, yeah, I got some news too, Dad. It's a great church. Great church. He's like, yeah, so we're going to go ahead and leave that church. I'm like, oh,
What you mean?
what happened? Well, come on, Dad. That's not what you meant to say. Don't do that. He's like, yeah, we're going to go ahead and it's our time. I'm like, it's not my time. I really felt it wasn't my time. It took me about a month to get over that one. But other than that, usually on a normal basis, yeah, I didn't really have any issues with just following the flow when it comes to like family. I take family first over everything. So
Yeah, that's fact.
So when it comes to my dad saying, "Hey, look, we got guys. I need you guys to help me," it wasn't even like a question or like especially right before he created started the church. It wasn't even a question. It was just like, okay, all right, well, where we going? What we doing? What you need me to do? Let's get it.
And you're so involved, like I look at you, I look at Ruthann, I remember when we were first at FTP, you guys wasn't as much as involved as it was when we did that transition to 2700. You know, you guys are more like laid back, and I mean, a lot of us were. We made Apostle did like everything.
Yeah.
You know, and
sure.
we actually learned a lot from that. You know, because I personally believe like instead of going somewhere and like trying to make yourself like up front, sometimes you need to sit back and watch, and then that's how you understand the spirit of the person that's leading you. You know, because you know people came and saw Jesus, they sat and watched, they listened. You know, because you can't just come in there and like, you walk in the room and you just go, you know, just flip stuff over. You're gonna create a distraction. You know, so sometimes you have to just come through and just sit and listen and see what's going on. And you know, I look at them now; they're so involved. And you know, I mean, the church is growing. You know, the church is awesome. And you know, to see you guys are so involved, you know, praise and worship, you know, and you know, prayers and everything, you know, you're just so involved. It's just like, I just don't know what you sacrifice, you know, to help everything to start. Because, you know, Apostle needs his whole family behind him, you know, because it's not something he could have done by himself. You know, and now today, you know, we have like multiple members that could do stuff, but you guys are still so involved. You know, so
I think when it comes to I don't know if it's like sacrifice. It's just more like expectations of you. You expect there's a lot expected of you as a pastor's kid when it comes to like how you act, how you carry yourself, how you treat others, how you. It's just a lot of expectation. Like I already know. You know what I'm saying? Like if people. Just in general, when they see my dad, is like, okay, they expect so much because my dad puts off so much. Like pastor puts off so much. Like
yeah, he does.
He cares about people. You know, he does. Like I care about people too, but it's just like they expect you to kind of like be exactly like him, but we're not the same person. You know what I'm saying? Like, like the love is there, the appreciation for everyone is there, but I'm not my dad, so.
Oh, we know you're not your dad, but you do carry your dad's spirit.
Oh, yeah,
You know?
yeah. And
Most of it.
They always.
Most of it. I can't say nothing about Matthew because Matthew's like, you know, he stays quiet. You can't figure Matthew out sometimes.
It's like,
You know, he just like, I think he got Sister May, I think he got Evangelist Mavis spirit. And she don't talk. But how do you feel like maybe one day pastoring?
What?
I was talking to Daniel.
Oh, okay.
No, we.
Not at all.
Calm
Not
down.
at all.
Calm
Like
down.
every time. Oh my! I don't know how many times like I've been called minister. Like, and I'm like, huh?
You are a minister.
But we all ministers.
Minister of music. Yeah, minister of music. But I don't know every time it come, and I was like, you know, okay. At one point I was like, come on, don't call me that. But then I was like, you know what? Okay, I started accepting it. I was like, yeah, I can see it. But then pastoring, that had me cross my mind. I've been told more than I've said. Okay, yeah, I can see that happening. I've been told more times than I was. Oh yeah, you gonna be a pastor just like your daddy. You gonna be a reverend just like your apostle. Apostle, I see you, apostle. I see, baby. Yes. Gotta get you a wife soon, baby. You gonna be up there preaching the word of God for the people. Hallelujah. And I'm like, can you let me hear it? I personally want to hear it for myself. I don't want to.
But honestly, none of us like. I don't think Donovan got up one morning and heard that he's gonna be Minister Donovan. I mean, I never got up and woke up like, oh, Mr. Hayden.
I mean,
None of us heard it. But once the
If you do hear it, you run from it.
that's true.
That's something
Keeping
you
the word
don't.
right,
That's something
yeah.
you don't want to hear.
Right.
yeah.
So I mean, you know, it's sitting inside of you.
So
just let it come out.
why we not asking my brother this question, huh?
Because he.
but here's the thing, though. Here's the thing, though.
temperament is there.
Here's the thing, though.
The love for the people is there.
We have two guests in the house. It's like
two wonderful guests. in the
wonderful
house.
guests. It's like
Wonderful guests.
They trying to
We came in a little late, but it's all right. They're here. They're blessing Holly.
introducing my good man.
My dude.
All right,
We got Deacon. My wonderful Deacon in the house.
Yes, sir.
And his brother. Now, is that the big brother or little brother?
That's my older brother. Yeah, my big
That's
brother.
your older brother, okay.
Yeah.
Alright, because some people might look, but they're still little than
Still
you.
small, yeah.
Okay, that's the big one. Alright.
That's right.
So
I can't call him the big one.
You might have been Yeah, so we have Deacon in the house and his brother.
Good night, my good people. How y'all doing?
Yeah, speak up, my guy.
Good night, everyone. How y'all doing? Good night, my brothers. How y'all doing in Christ?
Doing
Good,
great,
good.
doing
Yeah,
great.
I love that. I love that. I love that. I love that.
Minister,
Yeah.
how you doing,
Amen.
sir?
Yes,
It's
sir.
always a pleasure being here with my brothers and being in the house of the
Come closer to
Lord.
the mic, my guy.
But you guys started before me. I was a little bit late, but it's alright.
Just fall in, man. Just fall in. That's
All
all.
you
Just fall
gotta do
in.
is just fall into place. Good.
Fall into place, man. It's just a conversation. That's all we do. We're just talking.
You wanna
You know,
rehash the topic?
I mean, the topic is the topic right now, but I'm just hitting on the spot like why Daniel running from his calling.
Wow.
You know,
This is exactly what I mean, people. I want to look directly to this webcam right now. This is exactly what you heard what he said, right? Running from my see, okay, because I really want to break this down, okay? Because I remember I was like 7 or 8, and I forgot who it was. Someone was like, you're gonna be a minister. You're gonna be a minister.
But you are a minister.
I'm like, okay.
But you think everybody could go up there and do what you do on Sunday mornings? Honestly.
Listen,
Honestly.
with
Time.
with time, with a bit of faith, some hard work, a little bit of dedication. Because I never used to sing actually. I used to play drums, and I was pretty good, I believe. But you know what? I did my thing. I did what I had to do. And I ended up singing because there was no male singers on. See, God set it up, so I had to go sing, right? And then because I enjoyed it so much, and because I believe I was called to do it,
And you write songs.
and I was called to do it, and I write little songs here and there. I believe that it ended up being a blessing, not only to me, but to a lot of saints that were listening. So I personally enjoy it because at one point I was singing like every Sunday for like 3 months.
Hold on. Time out.
For like 3 months. Okay.
Let me tell you something, man.
Say something.
Daniel used to sing every Sunday. You know, somebody just roll with the flow. Okay, I gotta sing this Sunday. And I'll never forget the one Sunday, the man singing this song, man. Let me tell you something, man. Had the church everybody was just bawling. The song said, I will be what you call me to be. And when you hit that yes, man, everybody was like, oh gosh. And when you switch an atmosphere like that, when you put your all into it, I look at your father, Apostle. If he goes up there, no matter what he does, he puts his all into it. You understand what I'm saying? And when you put your all into what you're doing, let me tell you something, man. You change the whole atmosphere. And it used to be the same way with me. I used to go up there and just be like, man, I can't sing. You know, da. Until I started feeling that difference on the inside. And then I understand, like, listen, what's inside of you, bro, once you bring that out, it's crazy. And we all have that inside of us. You know, we all have that inside of us.
But you're so right, because whether you add to the situation and you're there, if you don't add to it, you might take away from the situation. Whatever your presence is, it's gonna react, or something is gonna react in the situation you're in, just by you being there. So, like you said, it doesn't matter if you support somebody or you don't support them. There's gonna be a reaction to whatever you do, whether you do or don't.
Positive or negative.
That's it.
Man, Apostle said, but your spirit connects when you hear it and confirms it.
Yeah, leave me alone, Dad. Leave me alone. How about you? Leave me alone, Father. This the kind of thing I got to deal with all the time. Okay, if it's not Deacon, it's just my dad telling me that. Listen.
I just want to see, like, you know, men in general. You know, if you're called to do something in the church, you know, do it with your heart. You know, just like when you was in the world and you do it, just like when you get up every day and go to work. You know, you get up and go to work because you expect a paycheck. You know that at the end of the day you're going to get paid, or at the end of the week you're going to get paid. And a lot of people do say, listen, I don't get paid what I'm valued. But Christ always pays you what you're valued.
Of course.
You know, even when you don't see the value inside of you, he still pays you, rewards you regardless. You know, and the Bible said little is much when God is in it. You know, so it only takes a little to becomes a lot. You know, that's where you start off. God start with one man. God always start with one. You know, he doesn't need like a whole army or nothing. He just needs one. And if he could just use you, you could impact, you know, brother man right here. And he could impact Donovan.
Really?
Donovan could impact Chris. You know, and it's like a domino effect.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
So I mean, like I used to run from my calling, but now I embrace it because I see who I am, and I see the difference in me. And you know, it's everybody individual thing to say, listen, man, we are the foundation of the church. The men should be the foundation. You know, and once we understand we're the foundation, and when men comes in and see that we're a foundation, and see that we're together, and see that, listen, it doesn't. We're not afraid. We're not ashamed to praise God. You know, we're not ashamed to do anything. You know, we're gonna lift our hands. We're gonna worship. We're gonna sing. We're gonna do what we have to do. Then guess what? We're gonna plant a seed inside of them. Like, listen, man, I went to this church. Man, these dudes wasn't afraid to worship God.
And I know there's a lot of people who are afraid to worship. And they're afraid of what other people are gonna think about them. Because I know there's some folks that come from churches that you don't really see a lot of jumping around and a lot of going. And to be honest, even when it comes to worship, you'll know the difference between somebody who's worshiping and somebody who's just trying to make people look at them, because you can feel it. If you yourself know what worship feels like, it looks like, you can feel when somebody's giving their all to just worship and just praise their God, and you can feel when somebody's just flailing around and walking around trying to get really attention, because some people just love the attention. But I believe that when it comes to worship, if you give it your all, if you let go. The hardest thing for people to do is just let go. It's like the saying when somebody, a man stuck his hand to a jar. Oh, I think my dad actually told the story. Well, he had his hand in a jar because there's something on the inside, and something was pulling him into the graveyard.
No, he was holding on to a chain.
He was holding on to a chain. All he had to do was let go. But because he didn't want to let go, he was allowing himself to be pulled into a situation where he could easily get out of it. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of people, all they really need to do is let go and let God. Let go and let God. It's just that easy. If you really just let go and let God, allow yourself to worship, allow yourself to praise, allow yourself, close your eyes, lift your hands, whatever you do to block everything else out, because the distractions come in very easily, whether it be a baby crying, whether it be somebody walking in front of you, whether it be maybe a sister with a tight dress, whatever it is.
Amen.
I'm just being 100. Whatever it is, distractions come especially it comes even more so when you're trying to praise, because when you're trying to praise, you're giving God the glory. When you're giving God the glory, the enemy is upset, so he has to distract you. So when you allow yourself to be distracted, even a text, a phone call, whatever stops you from praising God is a distraction. And especially when it's the time that you've allotted to God, to give back to Him, to give unto Him, to worship, adore Him, praise Him, and thank Him for what He's done for you. Whenever something distracts you from that, that is the distraction that was placed there to stop you from praising Him. You know what I'm saying? So it's very easy to not praise God and very easy to stick to self. But when you let go, I believe that the praise comes very, very, very easily.
Praise comes calmly from the inside.
So do you think that holding on to something,
I felt what you had.
not letting go, holding on and not letting go,
Huh?
holding on to something and not letting go prevents us from going into our calling?
I mean, it does in a sense, because if I'm going to make my father an example, if you want to comment, if I make my wonderful pastor an example, holding on and not letting go, I would say he's known he should have been a pastor a long time. And he knows one of the reasons why he wasn't he would have ended up being a pastor in Jamaica, but because he was holding on to a job that really, God was like, let it go. He's like, let it go. I need you to be here at this specific time. This is when you need to be here. This is your calling. This is what you need to be doing. He's like, nah, I'm trying to. That's obviously, he has a lot of faith. He loves God. So it's not like, really, it can happen to anybody. But even those who are in Christ and love God, there's some things you hold on to just because you have situations that happen because you living in this world. So you have situations that happen, you're making decent money, you're doing well. God's like, I need you to be here right now. He chose to hold on. He chose not to let go. Till he was forced to let go.
Yeah.
But by then he lost something that he should have had. Not that you can't gain it back, but at the point in time you should have had it. Because you didn't let go, you lost it.
Yeah. That's so true.
So there's blessings that are in store for us that we could have now.
Yeah.
Now, not 10 years later,
Yeah.
not 5 years later, not two weeks later, right now. But because we can't let go of what he's telling us to let go, that's what I'm saying. Letting go is the hardest part because sometimes whatever you're holding on to is addicting. Whatever you're holding on to is just what it kind of in a sense controls you because you feel like this, you can't live without it. But God is like, let it go so I can bless you. Let it go so I can move you on.
And what you're saying is so powerful because your anointing makes the room for you. Your anointing brings you things in your life, just like you said, that you would just have, you wouldn't even have to work towards.
Exactly.
Your
That's
anointing
beautiful.
would just bless you with.
I love what
Exactly.
y'all are saying, but I love to hear from our lovely guests.
Hold on, real quick. Somebody said Elijah and Elisha, and that's kind of like a good thing to bring that topic up
That's a great
because
example. That's a great
Elijah passed Elijah in the fields, like doing what his dad like grew him up to do. Like, listen, that's what he saw his father doing, so that's what he wanted to do. And then Elijah saw him, and he's like, bro, what you doing? This ain't what you're supposed to be doing. And then he stopped what he's doing and started to follow Elijah. And I believe like once you start going to church and you accept Christ and you're like full blown for Christ, I think your life should be a blank sheet of paper. You should just have to just start over because we've been groomed our whole life, say from kindergarten. Okay, you're gonna color, sweetie, but you're gonna color in the lines.
exactly.
Why?
Exactly.
Why do I need to stay in the lines?
Because you were told.
Because we're told to. And we grow up and see this stuff, and then guess what? Your father mentality was like, I love God, I have faith in God, but I got a family. You understand what I'm saying? And it's kind of like, whoa, what do I do? So he chose to work. Right? And a lot of people will do that because they're looking at the fact of what's in front of them. And when you're looking at something what's in front of you, it's like, man, I got faith in God, but I'm making $5,000-6,000 a week.
Yeah.
You know,
Exactly.
how am I going to give this up and just go pastor a church or do something I've never done before? And eventually, you know, it came around. He had to do it, and it took faith. You know, he had to do it. And this is the thing I love about the Lord is like when he started the church, he didn't have to worry about nothing. Stuff just came. And he also made a statement the other day. He said that the Lord said that whenever you start, I'll bring people to you. And it's facts. Because, you know, people come to us. And like I said, when he started the ministry, he never had to ask for nothing. Stuff just came.
Of course.
And, you know, even today, I mean, we have a giving church. You know, and it's a beautiful thing. And that's just to show you what faith is. And, you know, you might say, like, what if I had started this years ago? What would be the difference? You know, I mean, you're blessed. We all blessed. But you're going to go through some winding roads, man, that's going to make you want to give up. And I'm sure you might want to give up sometimes. I mean, we as believers want to give up sometimes. But guess what? We understand what we are. And Christ said, take up your cross daily. Deny yourself, take up your cross, and follow me. Cross ain't light.
Speaking of winding roads and giving up, right? We have this question. It's kind of a question from DJ Israel Churchboy, right? It's kind of similar to what you're saying. He was saying something about sometimes we let go of our purpose because of our leader's experience. Chris, can you expound on that a little bit?
Well, I guess it all depends on the leaders. Because the Bible says you're going to see your leaders' good fruits.
But you see,
by their fruits you know them. But every individual is different. Your problems might not be my problems. Your pastor might let go of doing something when I'm not going through that situation. I'm letting go to do that. So in some sense, it's right that you can follow the example of your pastor and not do something. But each person have their own problems in their life.
experiences.
Each person have their own strongholds to break. So it's right in some sense, but everyone doesn't go through the same process. Everyone's process is different. Like for me, say for instance, my problem would be like not coming early. Your problem would be like just not showing up at all. That's two different process right there. So you gotta learn to show up, and I got to learn to not come late. So what I'm trying to say is that everyone goes through different cycles, there's a different process that everyone goes through. And like Deacon says, like Minister Aiden
It's
says,
fine, man. It's fine.
you gotta take up your cross daily and follow Christ. So each day will be different. Today you might be up, tomorrow you might be down. Today you might win, and tomorrow you might lose. It's all in his hands, and what he says.
Apostle said because of fear, Israel did not make it to the promised land. It took them 40 years to make it to the promised land. And I wouldn't say it's fear. I just think they never let go of Egypt.
That's what.
That's all that whole story boils down to me.
I mean, if we're going,
in some sense, he's right when he says by fear, because
no.
when they left out of Egypt to cross the Red Sea, they were saying, Moses, what is this place that you brought us to? Better we remain in Egypt. So why I say in some sense he's right, they got the fear of like going into something new, trying something different. That's what I mean? So in some sense,
But when you read that whole story,
yeah,
and you understand, like, they got manna from heaven, so they were fed. When it was hot, the Bible said the Lord put clouds over them and kept them cool. And when it was cold at night, he casted heat to keep them warm. And he said when they're thirsty, they hit the rock, and water came out of it. Why did they fear?
But fear, when Pharaoh was running them down, he says that there was this thick blanket between them.
Right.
On one side, it was bright as the sunlight, and the other side, it was dark. So I'm saying, Pharaoh was on one side, and he was on one side. But they still was like a little bit greedy, a little bit selfish. He gave them something to eat, but it doesn't want what they wanted. Probably they wanted some steamed fish or some cabbage and rice or something. They didn't want manna.
You have to think about it like this. They were his people, but they didn't really even. I feel like they didn't really know him.
Exactly.
So it's like they know. So the children can be taught because the children, they didn't grow up in it in Egypt. They didn't grow up in Egypt. They're still young.
Yeah.
They're still impressionable. They're still learning. But the adults grew up in Egypt, and their ancestors are from Egypt because they were there for so long. They intertwined with the community, so they know Egypt. They know food is this, food. The air comes water. This, that. They know work. They work for money. They have a process by which they live. So God was like, I'm gonna just take you out of all of that. I'm gonna take you out of what you know. I'm gonna take you out of what you're used to. I'm gonna take you out of all. And they've grown up. They're older. You have older folks, middle age. They all know Egypt. And God's like, no, I need you to not know that.
But Brother Daniel, Minister Hayden, as far as when they got the report from Joshua and Caleb that says this is a place flowing with milk and honey, and they even brought back the evidence of how prosperous this milk and honey place was. The people said, but they have giants there. The people said, but they have forts built up to the sky. So they knew that it was a place full of blessing, and that was their calling and that was their promise. But to grab a hold of that, it was going to take a fight. It was going to take some work. So I believe that in a way they were scared to actually tackle on that great feat. And they knew they would have been bountiful if they had took it, but they knew it would have been a fight just to get it. And a lot of people aren't ready for that fight.
Speaking about that fight, though, I'm interested. Ray, right? All right. So understand that in bring it back to the topic at hand. In a relationship, it's a fight within your. Do you think it's a fight within yourself, to say, yo, I'm going to set aside my own ambitions right now for my spouse, because I see growth and I see the potential of where this could go. I'm not talking about the relationship itself, but like the business aspect. If it means growing, let's say, starting a business together. She already started a business, or she has. She's like, you know what? I'm gonna go back to school, or just do. Or it's not even. It gotta be her. It's like if it's you, you think. Do you think it's a real battle within yourself to say, yo, I'm going to
Well,
lower my head in a sense.
it's a fight in a sense in which sometimes we all have to discuss things like just like we were talking about.
Mm-hmm.
You know, to get the real understanding. So if you're gonna say you wanna go back to school, maybe I'm not saying you're not supposed to go back to school, but I have to think about it to see what you wanna go back to school to actually do, if it makes sense. You understand? It's just like sometimes you're going down the road and you say, what I'm going down the supermarket for. You have to make sure you're going down there for a meaning, so you want something. You understand? It's not like you're gonna go do something without trying to make sure, say, that's something they needed before you go. You understand?
But what if it's something that doesn't make sense to you, but it makes sense to them? It's a dream that they had, like being. If I say I want to be like your spouse says she wants to be an actress.
Okay.
She's had a dream of being an actress, and she wants you to trust her and believe in her. She's gonna go back to school to be
Well,
be an actress full
honestly,
time.
honestly, I love her. Yes, I would do it.
Speak
Yes.
up. That's good.
Yes.
Okay. So all you need so even if you don't agree, as long as you love her.
Yeah, I'll do it. I'll do it.
Speak up.
Just to prove her that maybe someday she might not like it,
Yeah.
but I just go with her at the moment. Say, well, this is what you want. This is what we're going to do.
Okay. Okay. Now, what if you had a dream at the same time, and let's say you needed help at your business. You have a construction business and
Yes.
it's doing well, and you need her. She was helping you on hand, but she's like, I want to follow my dreams.
Well, at the moment, we do what's best, what's progress at the moment. So if this is to making the money, we have to do this to maintain it, you to go back to school. We're not gonna drop this just for you to go back to school. That's not right.
Okay. I like that.
So you think the best thing to do is to see which option makes more sense.
Yes, maintain.
Okay, so we can maintain either even them doing their dream, following their dream.
While we still can live.
Okay. I mean, that's a very sensible answer.
Apostle say, when you see potential and possibilities for growth, why doubt? Support.
Really, true.
That's truth.
I agree with the support.
Yeah. So you see KBI now and when we started, would you give up?
No.
No.
Exactly.
There's times when I'm I second guess myself, like, why? Pastor, why? Sister Mavis, why?
It was God's calling. It's not them.
What? I understand what you're saying, but why? I still gotta ask that question.
Man,
is that time?
I just want to say,
Because I remember.
I want to say thank you for everyone that's tuning in. You know, it's an awesome topic tonight. You know, I really appreciate everybody for conversation. You know, we're on every Tuesday at 8 p.m. And, you know, we just discuss different topics. And, you know, this week we're discussing, like, if you have a spouse, you know, would you support them? You know, if they're doing like a business
Or following a dream.
or something like that, would you support them? You know, and I had flipped the whole script earlier and say, listen, your father started a church. How did you guys feel? Because the fact that I'm sure you probably had to give up something to support him. And, you know, that's where we're at right now in the conversation. And
But we didn't have to give up much.
I'm sure you didn't. And the reason why I say that, I don't think none of y'all did because Ruth then graduated and is in college. So she did her thing. Had on about like 20 ropes. Every rope was like something different. You graduated, had on about 5 ropes.
Now you're doing it. All right, yeah. I had a few. It was thick.
So, you know what I mean? Even though they supported, they still stuck with what their dream was, still did what they had to do. So, you know, we support each other.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what it should all be about. You know,
But I think you still have to give up something. I mean, you might not.
well, you give up time.
I mean, but I
There
mean,
are things you do.
Other than time, is-
Especially since, like, all right, like I'm younger, so there's a lot of things I probably wouldn't do because I'm, you know what I'm saying, in the church, and because I'm of the church.
That's
Now,
a lot of stuff a lot of us don't do because we're tied to the church.
Exactly. So, you know, there's a lot of things that you do end up giving up, but it's not really, I mean, if you don't see this something you really gave up, then if you don't see this a real sacrifice,
That's what I'm about to say. Sacrifice
Then
got to
it's
cost
like-
you something.
you know what I'm saying? Because there's a lot of jobs that want you to work on Sundays. You know what I'm saying? I know that's for like a lot of people too, but you just like, I'd rather be in church. I'd rather be in church. I'd rather be worshiping.
but minister, you mentioned it before. Going down that windy road, and then you get into an obstacle that you have to work your way out. You have to go through that process.
You have to.
If you never do it, you might go through it later than sooner, and it's better that you went through it sooner than later.
For sure.
So I mean, that's what I'm saying. That look at the prodigal son. The father was like, "You gonna take half of the inheritance and go out?" He was gonna blow it, but he says, "You know what? I'm gonna let you go." And the father gave up a little bit of himself, a little bit. He's like, "I'm. It's gonna probably like when you know we used to get beat. It's gonna hurt me more than it hurts you.
Yeah.
But I gotta let you learn the hard way."
I never liked that statement because it's like when
I
I
know it hurt
beat,
me more than it hurt him.
it hurt them more than it hurt me. So it's
It hurt
like
my hand more.
because there's a smile that comes on your face sometimes when the beating is just right and you just see the person twist and come. So it's like I never understand that statement because I remember when I used to get the beating because I was thick-headed. I couldn't swim when I see a slight smile, especially from my siblings and cousins. So I never liked that statement. I'm sorry to just drift off like that, but
I think it means it hurts the beater. The person.
no.
beating
I don't agree with that statement at all. But but I kind of get what you're saying. But let's use another phrase because that just brings up bad memories.
Why is it bad memory?
Let's not.
Now, there was a small intersection of topic that was talking about letting go, and how, especially when it comes to like praise and worship, the best way to worship is when you let go of whatever problem situations are going on, and you just give your whole self to God. Now you were talking about Elisha and Elijah. Now, when the mantle was passed, and I believe Elijah had to go, right?
Elijah had to go.
Elijah had to go. Elisha had to let him go. And when I was saying that, letting go is one of the hardest things you can do. It's one of the hardest things because most people don't like letting go, especially when they're used to something. When you're used to somebody and you're used to a situation and you're used to doing a certain thing, letting go is one of the hardest things you could ever do because it's not going to be the same anymore. Change, some people don't like change. Most people don't like change. Most people like when it's
Same thing over and over and over.
because they're used to it, because they're comfortable with it.
That's it.
Comfort brings stagnation.
But that's the reason why God gives us discomfort.
Exactly. And uncomfort brings growth. So in order for him to receive the mantle, he had to let go and let God. So I play Jesus. Okay. He had to let go and let God. And once he let God do what he had to do with Elijah, he was able to receive his blessing, which is even when I talk about most saints, because they don't receive their blessing because they can't let go of what's causing them to not receive their blessing. You know what I'm saying? a situation, a problem, an issue, instead of letting go and letting God, they're holding on to things that are weighing them down from receiving what they should have received long ago, or even now, or the next day, or currently in the present. But they have to wait till the future before they can receive what they should receive. Then they blame God and say, "Hey, God, why is it that I'm not?" But God already told you, "Hey, all I need you to do is let this go and allow me to work through you, work for you, and work with you." And just in general, that was another topic that was discussed: letting go and just letting God do what He has to do.
Well, you said it best, because if you hold on, you're
Still the same.
Exactly.
You haven't
Change.
opened up to receive anything new. So how are you gonna go forward? How are you gonna build up?
Yeah.
So my question is, it's kind of based off the topics that we covered so far. It's where is. Do you think the reason why certain people's goals in life are stunted is because they're not willing to let go, they are not willing to change, or at least bend to another will? Do you think that's the reason why so many people, even whether it's business wise, spiritual wise, or just in their general peace of mind?
I remember the conference we had said launching out into the deep. I think that's a lot of people's problem. They're just scared to try. But to me, you have to fail to succeed. You know, not everything you try on your first try, you're gonna knock it out of the park. You know, it's just like walking. You know, you had to creep, and you had to walk, then you start running. You know, a lot of people don't go after their dreams or go after what they believe in because they're scared to try it. You know, they're looking at like, oh, I only have like $5,000 and it's gonna take all that $5,000 to start this business. They second thinking, kind of like, I don't have no backup money.
Exactly.
You know, and that's just the fear and the doubt, you know, that we need to get rid of. And I personally believe if God gives you a talent and you have a skill, and that skill is like immaculate, I don't know what's stopping you. You stopping you. You know, I say every day when I look in the mirror, and when I look in the mirror, I say, yo, listen, today it's me versus me. I'm not worried about nobody else, and we shouldn't worry about nobody else. We should worry about ourselves. Because at the end of the day, if you don't try or do something, guess what? You failing yourself. It's better to say I've tried, I went out there, I put my best, I did my all, and it never happened, than to say I've never tried and it never happened.
But Minister Hitty, you know that a lot of people have that same talent that you're talking about and don't even consider it like a talent.
They don't.
And they hide it away.
I like that mindset. It's beautiful. Beautiful thought. Now, I asked you, Chris, right? It's a two-part question, right? And I really want you to speak into the mic. You see me? So the question is, you start off, both in your Christian walk and your business. Bless us with you on this, a little bit of it, because just keep it close to the topic at hand. That's
Well, first, with like a Christian walk, some days it's hard because you know that some words you ain't supposed to say, some thoughts you ain't supposed to think. You're supposed to always try not to be negative, always be positive. But yet again, you have that one day where someone's gonna just say something you don't like, and you know what to know in yourself not to let that old man rise there, because you said you killed him. And you put on something new. Now, being a part of Christ and walking with Christ, you gotta learn to leave everything towards Him. Like, for instance, when we get up in the morning to be on the prayer line, we dedicate that hour of our day, of the beginning of our day, to Christ, to pave our way for us, make that day be good and cover us. And while we're getting up and praying and stuff, we're actually ordering our day. These are ordering our steps for that day.
Can you speak up either?
With my business now, I didn't start off my own authority, I started off God's authority. But first, the name of my business is actually taken from the Bible.
Explain. What Lord?
What's the name of your business? Fitly Frame?
Yes, it's called Fitly Frame.
Okay.
I think it's in Ephesians chapter 2, between the third and the fourth verse, I'm not sure. It says that God made us fitly framed. And in my understanding of it, He made us fitly framed to withstand anything that comes against us
Your voice is just blowing through the wind.
or come up towards us. So by Him making us be fitly framed, just like Deacon says, they didn't make F-150 was not made tough. We're the one that was made tough. So in my thinking, I'm saying that fitly, in my mindset, I'm saying I am fitly framed and made by Christ. So that's how I got the name, fitly framed. So now my wife says that we should name it this, and I agreed.
What was that?
My wife told me to give it that name,
Give it what name?
fitly framed. That's the name of my business, Fitly Framed Installation, Repair, and Maintenance Services.
It is what?
That's the name of my company, Fitly Framed Installation, Repair, and Maintenance Services.
And what do you do?
Well, we do like maintenance, like painting, interior, exterior, drywall, and stucco jobs.
Say with your chest.
Pretty much anything. Pretty much anything. Make yourself pretty much
Free
anything.
advertisement.
I know, man. He doesn't get it.
You know what I'm saying? Like, hello, boy, you like a little lot.
Like, speak.
But for being honest, getting to know Christ, which is Jesus I'm talking about, nobody else, it's been wonderful. Because I've been learning to leave everything towards Him. And there is that one time where I get a little bit hungry, but then I got to come back into myself and know that it's not about me, it's about Christ. And He's the one that made me possible being here and being on this earth. So, and Deacon made a topic about Elijah and Elisha. He said, Elisha had to let Elijah go. But why most of us don't want to let go? It's because we don't see the reward. For some persons, you got to see the reward just now. For us being in Christ and following Christ, we're not going to see our reward is not on this earth. Our reward is going to be in heaven. Our reward is going to be on that day when He will sit on His throne and says, "Welcome, my good and faithful servant." So for us being in Christ Jesus, we're going to learn to wait on that reward. It's not going to be on this physical earth because it's not going to be here. Period. It's just not going to be on this earth. He says that Elisha had to let Elijah go. Yes, because he told him that if you see me when I'm going up in heaven, you will get a blessing. So now he's knowing that he got to let go because there's a reward when Elijah will enter into heaven. And when Elijah was taken up in heaven, he said the mantle fall, and he took it. And when he turned back, he ate the water, and the water poured for him also. Poured for Elijah. So yeah, we're gonna learn for some of us, we're gonna learn to just let go and let God lead you and let God do what He's supposed to do. But if we don't see it, we won't believe. And He also says that blessed are those who don't see but believe. Our reward will be greater.
Do you know your Bible, you? Respect that. Blessings. I'm sorry for cutting you off, but
It's okay.
it's not okay, but gang, move on. Listen to you. I feel like me not hear your brother much. It's like,
So much you know your Bible, youth.
so I got a question for you, right? Yeah, the question.
Same question.
Same question. The question was.
It was just about how he deals with his Christian walk and dealing with something like his business,
Yeah. Your business is like,
putting God first when it comes to his walk or his something in his life, business wise or
My life?
yeah.
Well, you have to put God first in everything what you do. First thing you wake up in the morning, you give thanks.
a little closer, Chief.
You have to give God thanks in everything what you do, For real. Because God is the way, the truth, and the life, Because now everything we do is perfect. What you do and what you don't do. So, in order for you to figure out a better life, you have to just live positive and think positive, Make things work between you and your partner and think the cleanest way you can think amongst your brothers. Because at the end of the day, it's not like you're gonna see a brother with a shoes and you say you should have that shoes too. Because you're not gonna work that way there. God not work that way there. You humble yourself and then you can have something more nicer than in life. You understand? Because every man have been there. In Jamaica, they would have say every dog has his day. So it's all about living good with everybody. No matter what color you be, it's just living good and positive message towards everybody. You know what I'm saying? Honestly, cleaner you be, better for you.
And my last question to the brothers, Lewis. The brothers Lewis, all right? How difficult was it to start the business?
Actually, it wasn't difficult at all because I had support from my wife and my family.
Wait, rewind. What you said?
I said it wasn't difficult at all. I had support from my wife and my family.
And what the business called?
Fitting frame installation, repair, and maintenance.
I like the confidence in your voice right there. But same question to you.
Well, repeat that question then.
The question. The business, right? How difficult was it to start?
Well, me for start growing up, it was kind of rough when I grew up in Jamaica because as a youth, you have to make sure you head up. Honestly, you have to just think positive. That's how you can tell anybody. Just think positive. And once you think positive, you just have to say, you don't want to go to jail. Like, you know, and put yourself in a situation where you have a regret. So you always have to think forward to tomorrow. So you get up today, you say, all right, give thanks God to see me see this day. Please carry me out safe and bring me back safe. You know, those simple words can even help you to be a prosperous day. You know what I'm saying? That's how we used to carry out my day. Because there's times when even policemen stop me and they dig me down to my shoes, take off my socks, everything. So me used to that rough life. You understand?
So it's a fight and a push.
Yeah. Yeah. So everything you do, you get a fight. So you have to just hold your head straight on a straight line. Honestly. That's how me know it.
I like that. A push, a fight, walking that straight line.
You have to get a fight. Jesus himself get a fight. So I mean, if they fight Jesus, then what else?
Where the name actually come from is from Ephesians chapter 2 verse 21. And this is what it says. In whom all the building fitly firm together growth and
Speak up, Chase. It's like you can barely hear you. It's like the breeze are blowing you. I can't hear nothing.
I said, this is where the name actually came from. It's from Ephesians chapter 2 verse 21. It says, in whom all the building fitly firm together growth unto an holy temple in the Lord. So that's where it comes from.
Praise his name.
And the thing is that, you know, whenever he keeps his business based on that ground, you never have no issue.
So as long as the foundation is
as long as the foundation
right.
stay the same. A lot of folks start right, and then once they start like making it, they diverse. You know, from what they started from. And I always believe that the way that you start, you know, that should be your foundation. You should never depart from that. You know, just like we say in Jamaica, you go on like you remember where you come from. You know, we all should remember where we came from.
That's right.
You know, just like he said, you know, you go through days when, you know, you got to fight. You know, you get a pulling, you get a tugging. You know, something always pulling you. You know, you got to remember them days like, listen, I went through all that fight and stuff for a reason. For me to get to where I'm at. But I'm not going to forget the foundation of what I started on. Like how he started the fitly frame on the foundation. He got that word from the book.
Exactly.
You know, so once he stays on that track, it'll be fine. But a lot of people, once they start getting that green, they forget about everything else, man. They start missing church on Sundays because they got to go to work. You know, they're chasing that paper. And I always believe, like, anything that you chase, make sure that could save you and save your kids. Because money can't always save you and save your kids. But guess what? The man upstairs always could save you. Your kids could be 500 miles away. And Jesus is right there for them. Your money can't help them when they're that far all the time, you know?
True.
So we got all this. To me, it's just the foundation, man. Wherever you start, you know, that's somewhere that we should really take serious, because that's something that God placed inside of you, you know, and say, listen, this is how I want you to start. This is how I want you to continue. You know, when Christ started, he started as a young lad. Then he disappeared because what? They wanted to crown him before they crossed him. He had to go on the cross first. You know, that's how he got his crown. But a lot of us, we just want the crown. We don't want to do the cross. You know, we don't want to pick up that heavy cross. But we want the blessings. You know, and I believe our reward, we get our reward every day. Once you open your eyes and you can breathe, your limbs are moving, that's a reward, man, that nobody can take from you.
That is the greatest gift that can
That's the greatest gift you get. Life. Right? Life is the greatest gift.
Well, I'm glad for all the words that the young men of Christ have said. Again, just remember, it's just a conversation brought to you by myself, Deacon Dwayne Hayden. No, my apologies. Minister Dwayne Hayden. I said it right. Amen. And we have here Minister. I'm gonna screw up on your names.
I'm standing in
Amen.
proxy for all the men of KBI.
Amen. Yeah.
Deacon Simmons, Deacon Gibb. We standing in proxy for everyone that's on the radio, that's on the Facebook, that's just tuning in wherever they are.
Everyone that's tuning in, appreciate it.
It's amen, right?
Amen.
All right.
Amen.
Minister Amen is like
Minister Ahmad.
oh.
Amen, brother.
Amen. Amen. Amen.
Amen.
And then we have
Deacon Chris.
Deacon Christopher Lewis.
Yes.
And we brought to you brother Ray Walker and Daniel.
How you just gonna say Daniel like that?
Brother Daniel.
Minister Daniel.
Daniel.
We don't call you apostle.
Minister
We
Daniel.
don't call you pastor.
You know what I mean? It's Minister
You
Daniel.
take the
Right?
minister. You gonna take the minister.
Like, if you really watch KBI Ministries live, 11 a.m. on Sunday mornings, you will see this young man. And let me tell you something. Sometimes I see the man singing worship and dance.
I'm like, how is
till
he
him
moving?
wet.
Flame
I'm
of
talking about
fire.
his shirt, man, just like dripping. And that's what we should do, man. We should put our all. When we come to church, bro, we be all like, oh, I'm too clean,
Too
man.
fresh.
I ain't
Too
gonna
fresh.
sweat today,
Like,
man. I ain't gonna. My bow tie is straight. I can't get my bow tie crooked. Nah, we need to forget about that.
Sometimes
the
I
Bible
want-
said David danced until he danced out of his clothes, bro.
Sometimes I even wonder how he gets so low and come back up, and it's like,
That's the thing when you put your all into
What?
something, man. When you put your all into
Let it go.
something.
Listen, I was
Let it
blessed.
go.
I was blessed with flexibility from my mother. Okay, that's not.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? I'm big, but I'm flexible. Okay? All right.
well,
All right, Mama. Thank you,
again,
Mama. I appreciate it.
just a conversation. You can always see us every Tuesday around 8 to 9.
That's right. Every Tuesday, 8 to 9. Tune in next week. Gonna be someone new, new topic. Every week is a different topic. And I'm waiting for this one topic that I'm gonna grab my apostle and bring him back in the building. And it's gonna be a rough topic that night. We're gonna go in. We're gonna pick his brain. We're gonna see, we're gonna get all in there.
See what's
We'll
going on.
definitely see him.
All 16 years. I ain't gonna call his age. All 16 years.
16 years.
He's 16. He's young.
Yeah.
All right. So until next week, Tuesday.
It's been a pleasure.
It's been a pleasure.